Greetings and welcome to In Depth. I'm Dike Rostant. There is a new brand alert. The Oshun Effect is with us now, and it's aiming to create positive change. Time now to speak with founder and so much more, Oshun Trim. Hi, Ms. Trim, how you do?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. And before we go any further, let me say happy belated birthday as well.
Thank you so much.
And I find it interesting because once I saw a post, people will, when you post something that is kind of inane, just anything about anything, this is what I had for breakfast, you'll get so many likes, and
Yeah.
people, yes, girl, I like that too. But when you're doing something about business, you don't necessarily get as many. You get crickets chirping or whatever. But I saw a post, and I want to publicly thank Rostant for actually sharing the post, which brought it to my attention. And in terms of like all just getting that information out there. But what are some of the things that led to that post, even before we get into the brand itself? That's the Oshun Effect.
Okay. Well, I was really thinking about what do I want to do to celebrate 25, quarter of a century. Thoughts here, thoughts there, thoughts everywhere. It has been coming for some time, but I have always been so reserved, so afraid of sharing this with the world, even though I already share my voice with the world. So I really wanted to put the brand out there so that people can officially know it as the Oshun Effect. This is what is going to be happening from now on. And that was really the inspiration behind sharing it on my birthday. So it's kind of like a celebration of my brand, a celebration of my confidence, a celebration of me in essence.
And we're going to get into what the Oshun Effect is about in a little bit, but this is not the first thing that you've been kind of championing. This is not the first cause that you've gotten behind. And we speak about some of those causes as well, but is it easier to be a little more vocal, to be a little louder, to advocate a little more aggressively when it's something that is for someone else as opposed to for yourself?
Definitely. Let me tell you, when I got into UE at 2018, I was in year one, and that's the first time I heard about the Guild of Students. I say, it's given student council. I was a part of student council. Now I love talking for others, and I decided, being a first year student, I may not get it. I may not get the faculty rep position. I said, Oshun, try your hand. I tried it, bam, I was successful. People didn't even know me because I was so new, but the way in which I really rallied and advocated for being their rep, they trusted and they believed in me, and I got it. And it was beautiful. I made so much lifelong friends with students, with faculty members. It's very, very easy to advocate on behalf of everybody else besides yourself.
And talk to me a little bit about Tobago Youth Council as well. Was that before, after? Is that around the same?
That was last year. It's a very competitive council to get into. So the organizations throughout the island, they basically send somebody up from a member organization within the larger body. And being the founder of the Phoenix Society, which uses the creative arts to basically develop youth, I decided, why not throw my hand in something like this? And I did it, and I was successful, and I am now the lady vice president of the Tobago Youth Council.
I hear plenty throw hand, try hand, and I hear plenty success. How do you decide what you're going to try your hand at?
Anything advocacy, it just piques my interest. Talking on behalf of people, for people, with people, by a young person. I want to be able to be the voice for the voiceless. So anything that deals with you and the arts and culture and tourism, those are the key things that I love to be a part of.
And is this a matter of nature or nurture? Is it that you grow up around individuals who encourage you to advocate for yourself? Is it why? Because many times you said, you know, to that quarter century, that milestone.
Yeah.
Many times people around that age, they're trying to establish themselves. Say, okay, well, this is what I can get for me, as opposed to this is how I can serve. Or
Yeah.
what are some of the things going into this willingness to serve at this age?
Well, I grew up around people who was never afraid to talk up for themselves, but they were never afraid to talk up for others. And I think that really inspired me to do the same, because if it is scary to talk up for yourself, imagine how much scarier and how much bolder you would be to talk up on behalf of somebody else. And I found that very intriguing, very interesting. And I wanted to do the same as well.
So you realize we kind of talk a little bit about the Oshun Effect, but even before we go into that, Phoenix Society. What is the Phoenix Society and how does it operate?
Well, the Phoenix Society is an NGO in Tobago, and we use the creative arts to develop youth. So we do creative workshops such as drumming, singing, dancing, writing. I really wanted to create a space and a support circle for young people who are interested in the art, but they don't really have some place to go, have some place to be, have a support circle to help them navigate, trying to find out if they want this to be a hobby or if they want it to be a sustainable part of their lives.
And what a year, because I'm trying to tie the formation of the Phoenix Society into heritage personality, and I know that was 2018.
18. Oh, you're going back. Well, the Phoenix Society came out of the COVID era when we started COVID. I realized that people just sitting at home, they're not sure what to do, they're bored. However, they are going to watch the movies, listen to the music, write something, dance here, dance there, sing. So I said this was a perfect opportunity to form a body, a collective, to have people filter in and have a space for that.
In the main cook and bottle washer, or other people sharing responsibilities with it?
No, I have a beautiful executive. I am not the main bottle washer and cook. I have Lady Vice President Kedisha Thomas. I have Secretary Delano Joe Field, Treasurer Davina Nelson, PRO Sharice John, and Assistant PRO Renessa Ortiz.
Because sometimes when there's one person who has all this passion, there's one person who's making sure that every I is dotted and every T is crossed, there's that one person going to get burned out. So I'm really glad to hear that you have this executive. And is it a matter, is it based in a specific community or is it community of practice? How do people engage with it?
Well, we go from community to community. Because I'm from Lakewood, I have to register it in Lakewood, but we go from community to community. So we do things in Signal Hill, we do things in Scarborough, we do things in Bacalet. So different communities. So we're not just based in one place.
All right, and we're not going to base this conversation in just one place because we're going to take a short break and come back. We're really going to talk about the Oshun Effect. We're going to dive down in it. When we return, we are speaking with the founder of the Oshun Effect, Oshun Trim. Stay with us. We come back with more. Welcome back. We are speaking with Oshun Trim, the founder of the Oshun Effect. And we hear that it is to create positive change in your area, in environs. Tell me a little bit about it, please.
Sure. The Oshun Effect. I have always been a talker since primary school. In my report book said Oshun talks too much. Oshun is distracting others. Oshun needs to settle down. I mean, I was a little more settled in high school, getting up into the third form, fourth form, fifth form. But just being able to put a smile on someone's face, being able to voice concern to people, I was always the one chosen to. Does anybody want to do class assembly, host class assembly? I would not say anything. My parents, Oshun should do it. Oshun should do it. Does anybody want to read for church service? Oshun should do it. Oshun should do it. So I feel like getting the call from others to do it, why not take that charge and responsibility from myself to carry it out? So, yeah.
So what are some of the things that is involved in? So yes, talking, so I guess communication, but in terms of creating that positive change, what is the vehicle for doing so? What, in terms of aim, mission, how it is? If you say, okay, well, I want Oshun for these services, what are those services?
Well, despite authenticity, because we want everything to be true to a brand, we're looking at engagement and innovation and creativity and storytelling, because I am a creative to my heart. I work at the Tobago Performing Arts Company as a resident actor, and it's very innate in me. I want to be able to share that creative part of myself with other brands, so that they're not monotonous and they're not the same as any other brand. And I think that that is what I bring to the table.
And also you said something in the first half of the conversation, looking at something, looking at the arts, and seeing whether or not this is something for me that I want to do as a hobby versus something that I want to engage in a professional capacity in terms of looking at my professional career. Do you find individuals of hemming and hawing with that? What are some of the challenges? Because, you know, sometimes mommy and daddy want it, according to Paulkins Douglas, they want it to be all these things with the behind a doctor, lawyer, teacher. And
Teacher.
how are the ways that you've dealt with that? Because you said that you're a TPAC. So was it an easy road? Was it challenging? Did you have to say no? I am going to do this because this is who I am. This is how I can express myself. What was that like for you?
Well, I grew up in a household that was very creative. My family comes from the heritage line and legacy of Tobago. So it was very easy for me to say I want to follow in these footsteps. My sisters, however, they're not really into that. They wanted to be teacher, psychologists, all of these things. I mean, at one point I wanted to as well, but it was the love for it was never there, as I wanted to be the actress, the creative. So it was very, very easy. And I realized that because it was easy for me, I want to be able to show that support to somebody else who does not necessarily have it easy. Because that's where the problem stems from. The parents thinking that, oh, you could sing, then singing not going to make no money for you. You could acting not going to make no money for you. You could writing, not making no money for you. But mommy and daddy is sitting and watching the people act, watching the people sing. They're watching what somebody wrote. So we just wanted to change the mindset from it being a hobby to, mommy, you go into the movies to watch this. Daddy, you go into Soca Fest. Bungie just write Carnival Contract. Michael Teja just won Road March with DNA. They wrote something and really love off the songs. So we want to really steer them away from it being a hobby as opposed to it being a job, a profession, something that sustains you.
And these three things I think of Phoenix Society. I know we're just going to talk about Oshun Effect alone, but you see, you're wearing so many hats, so let's deal with all of them. TPAC, Oshun Effect, Phoenix Society. Do those things help to kind of formalize the and I don't want to say notion, because the fact that these are viable options and careers that can be followed and pursued.
Mm-hmm. It definitely is, because when you think of theater, most people think of acting, but they don't think of stage management. They don't think of costuming. They don't think of lights. They don't think of set building, props. Even if you don't want to act, you could build a prop. You could direct. You could write. You could be the sound engineer. All of these things. So there are many viable options and career opportunities that comes out of the arts, and it's very important for people to understand that.
And in terms of that understanding, I think sometimes people also forget that some of the most profound statements can be articulated using the arts. One of the
Correct.
things that I would have seen you do is give your 2 cents and more than that on the status of women in the Caribbean, and that was through an offering to Caribbean women in leadership, CWIL, even looking at the fact that you quoted Albert Einstein and saying if you only grade a fish on its ability to climb a tree, then you're going to have plenty of people walking around the place feeling that they are less than. How important is it that you infuse the work that you're doing in the arts with these sorts of big messages?
Is very, very important, because sometimes it's not really palatable to sit down and say, we had to stop killing the woman, we have to do this, we have to do that. But because people connect through song, poetry, dance, all of these things, that is a very good medium to put those messages through so that people could understand, people could listen, people could hear, and people could take action from it.
And so yes, they're the big messages, but also in terms of like the corporate services, what are some of those? Because naturally you say you're using your voice all the time, you're talking, so there's voicing in terms of like creative work, commercials, hosting. I think I saw you do one, and the hair was a slightly different color. What are some of the other offerings that the people can have through the Oshun Effect?
Well, they can have the basic announcing and seeing, hosting events. I recently did one for First Citizens Girls First. It was actually very impromptu. It was supposed to be with my husband. However, her flight could not make it to Tobago for some reason. And thanks to Rachel again, she would have recommended me because I was supposed to be the poet for that entertainment slot. And they asked me, and I said, sure, why not? I'm already a creative. This is very, very comfortable to me to talk to young ladies, to talk to youth. This is something that I'm accustomed to. So why not? Why not? And I did it, and it was well received. I had fun. The girls had fun. It was lovely. It was lovely. So despite voicing, we have announcing, emceeing, public speaking. I could moderate, be a part of panels, workshop facilitation. So if the corporate bodies would like to have teamwork exercises done, public speaking exercises done, things like that, I can facilitate it.
And with that, we're almost at the end of the conversation. There are two questions I want to ask them at the same time, and you take it however you want. Contact information, that's one, as well as how do you find time to render unto Caesar what is unto Caesar? So how much time for Oshun Effect, how much time for TPAC? You said you have a lovely executive for the Phoenix Society, so we're not worried about them. But how do you split time? How are you planning to split time? Because we see that the Oshun Effect is new.
It is. So the first answer, you can find me on Instagram at the Oshun Effect. You can get me at 345 6575, or you could email me at oshuntrim0213@gmail.com. That is spelled OSHUNTRIM0213@gmail.com. The second answer to the second question, I am big on time management. So I would split up my day. If I know that my 9 to 5 is with TPAC, my 9 to 5 is with TPAC. I have a great executive, so I can delegate other tasks to them where TYC is concerned, where the Phoenix Society is concerned, where my other organizations are concerned. Where it pertains to the Oshun Effect, I have appointment scheduling program that you could go up and schedule, book your appointments, we email, we call, we send messages, so that it's not very time consuming to put all the things together as opposed to breaking them apart.
So with that, we want to say thank you very much, Oshun Trim, and thank you for taking that leap of faith to do what you are doing. And on behalf of the entire TTT News team, this has been In Depth with me, Dike Rostant. Thank you so much for joining us.